Bringing people and communities together on seclosounds.org.
Your listening station.
Hi, I'm Terry Sullivan and welcome to today's Sticks Radio Show. Today on the show I have two legends of true legends of Irish folk music. They were formerly with the Dubliners, they're now with a band called Dublin Legends. In the show I'm going to be talking to Sean Cannon and Eamonn Campbell. Eamonn I'm going to be talking to later on in the show. In a few minutes I'm going to be talking to Sean Cannon. This is after that we hear the Dubliners and the fabulous Whiskey in the Jar.
As I was going over the far-famed Kerry Mountains, I met with Captain Farrell and his money he was counting. I first produced my pistol and I then produced my rapier, saying stand and deliver, for you are a bold deceiver, mushering dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I counted out his money and it made a pretty penny. I put it in me pocket and I took it home to Jenny. She sighed and she swore that she never would deceive me, but the devil take the women, for they never can be easy. Mushering dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I went unto my chamber all for to take a slumber. I dreamt of gold and jewels and for sure it was no wonder. But Jenny drew me charges and she filled them up with water, then sent for Captain Farrell to be ready for the slaughter. Mushering dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. And 'twas early in the morning, just before I rose to travel, up comes a band of footmen and likewise Captain Farrell. I first produced my pistol, for she'd stolen away me rapier. I couldn't shoot the water, so a prisoner I was taken. Mushering dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. And if anyone can aid me, 'tis my brother in the army. If I can find a station in Cork or in Killarney, and if he'll go with me, we'll go roaming in Kilkenny. And I'm sure he'll treat me better than my sporting Jenny. Mushering dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. And mushering dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Whoop!
Today on the show I have as my guest one quarter of the Dublin Legends, a gentleman called Sean Cannon. How you doing, Sean?
I'm fine, thanks. Yourself?
I'm not too bad at all. Why, you need to tell me, why is Irish music so popular? I mean, there's yourselves, you've got Daniel O'Donnell, you've got Foster and Allen, seem to be really, really popular. Is there can you think of a particular reason why it's so popular?
Well, I mean, apart from the fact, well, the Irish music is quite rhythmic and melodic, so you've got that combination.
Yeah.
And there are songs which have stood the test of time. You mentioned Daniel O'Donnell.
Mm-hmm.
He would have a different approach to us.
Mm-hmm.
But and Foster and Allen I know as well.
You do you?
Yes. And of course, but in Britain you can imagine that there's a large Irish population who would gravitate to concerts of an Irish nature. But it's not just the case. We play on the continent in Germany, and the people who come to see there's a few expatriates, but most of the people are native Germans, and they're also interested in the Irish music.
That's good, though, isn't it? I mean, yeah, you've
very
just
gratifying, because it's we tour quite often in Germany every year, annually.
Yeah, because you do Switzerland and Spain as well.
Switzerland we visit,
Yeah.
mostly Germany, Holland, Scandinavia, mostly Northern Europe. We've been to Italy. You mentioned Spain. We've been there a few times, but it's not the same as the Nordic countries.
They love you in the Nordic countries because you speak several languages, don't you?
Yeah, I lived in Germany for a while. I lived a year in Spain, mentioning Spain again, so I can speak Spanish and German and French, Irish and English.
Well,
I'm getting better at the English all the time.
Oh yeah. Some would say I am as well, so we won't. But you were born in Galway in Ireland.
I was born in Galway City, west of Ireland, Galway Bay.
I've heard so much about it. It's a beautiful place.
It is. It's a famous Galway Bay, the large inlet of the sea, and you can look across to County Clare and see the mountains. So it's quite spectacular. And as the sun sinks in the west over Galway Bay, it's a famous song and image. And we also have north of the city a great lake called the Curragh that is drained by the River Curragh, which is only about 4 miles long. It drains into Galway Bay. So there's a lot of water. And you're west of this river, which flows through the centre of Galway City, is what's called Connemara, that part of a Gaeltacht area. That means it's an area designated to the Irish language. There's a lot of native speakers of Irish in Connemara, West Galway.
Do you still live in Ireland?
No, I live in Coventry.
I thought you did.
But
I was getting the impression you were looking out the window then for a minute. I was thinking you were very poetic about. I thought you lived in Coventry.
Yeah, I was brought up in Galway. Yeah,
because you've been over here.
There, and then in 1955, my family moved here.
Oh, well, that's you moved to a great place. I'm joking.
I did various jobs, and when I was 21, I took a trip to Germany. I met some German friends, and they invited me to come over. And I lived with a German family for 9 months and worked as a painter and decorator, which I served my time to. And from there I went down to Switzerland, and I stayed another 9 months. And then I went to Spain for a year. And when I came back, I took a job at the Standard Motor Company in the offices. And in this office was a fellow Irishman who was a guitar owner, and he was interested in folk music. And he brought me along to the folk club in Coventry. And that's where I got the book. They were singing Irish songs, Scottish songs, English songs, and American music. And I discovered the folk scene, and indeed the Dubliners.
Were you...
John Baez, and all the great English artists, Nick Jones, Martin Carthy, and Scottish artists, Dick Gaughan, and other people. Yeah. So I got the book, and eventually I plucked up enough courage to sing a song for them at the folk club, and it was received, and there it started a hobby, which then became a career. I was on a solo career for 10 years, and then I got the offer to join the Dubliners when Luke Kelly unfortunately became unwell with a brain tumour. 1982 I came into the
That's right, yeah. Because, I mean, that must have been an interesting conversation. Did you get a phone call saying, would you like to join the Dubliners?
Yes. Well, I'd known them socially because living in Coventry, I was able to go with friends over to Birmingham when the Dubliners were on tour in Britain, and we used to go and see them at the town hall in Birmingham. And then after the show, people in the know, were aware that the Dubliners would retire to a pub which was called the Shakespeare behind the town hall, and that's where the fun really got started.
Because you played...
It seemed like that the actual concert was only a prelude to the rest of the night, and we'd leave there in the small hours of the morning.
Yeah,
I got to know the Dubliners socially before I, and so that they had my number and address. And when Luke was unwell, I got a phone call. We're this tour. Will you step in? And I thought this would last until he got well, maybe 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. But it went on for 30 years.
Well, that can't be bad. Because you were originally with a band called the Gales, okay?
I was indeed, yeah. The friend who first brought me to the folk club, we formed a duo, and then we got another chap in, another fiddle player, Brian Patton, his name was. Bill Hartnett was the man who introduced me to the folk clubs, and then with Brian, we had a trio, and we got a Scotsman in. His name was Ian Rennie, so we were a foursome, and we modelled ourselves on the Dubliners, so that when, and we practiced the songs, so that when I got the offer to the Dubliners, I had the repertoire ready.
Oh, well, that's good, isn't it? Because I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is true, you've played in almost every folk club in Britain.
Me, to every folk club.
Yeah?
Well, I had a good few of them, I must say. I went from Land's End to John O'Groats. Next to John O'Groats is Firso. And the Doonray Atomic Energy plant was up there, and they had a little folk club running, and I went all the way up there. And all the way down to Sennin Cove and Penzance, and from Aberystwyth to Norwich. So I've been all around the country. I could remember all the road numbers.
Well, you do better than me, because I tell you what, I get lost sometimes myself, especially Milton Keynes. I always have great fun in Milton Keynes, the roundabouts and all that. They're always interesting.
I know, all the roundabouts.
Oh, it's a nightmare for me. Even though I go there regularly, I'll still manage to get myself lost. I don't know how I do it.
I know what you mean, because
obviously,
one roundabout looks like another one.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. You've just recorded a new album.
Pardon?
You just recorded a new album?
Yeah, it was a
live one.
We made an appearance 3 nights in Vienna.
Yeah, that must have been exciting.
December, and an engineer came. It was planned that an engineer should come and record 3 evenings, which they did. And out of that then came a CD, which has just been launched. We're hoping to have it with us on tour.
Oh, that'd be great. I've got a track which I'll play at the end of the show from the album, and it's called I'll Tell Me Mum, Me Ma.
I'll Tell Me Ma,
yeah.
That's regarded as a children's skipping song.
Is it really?
I think it's from Belfast. It mentions Belfast.
Oh, does it? I haven't actually listened to it properly all the way through. I was sent it.
It's a very catchy tune.
Is it? Well, a lot of your songs are. I mean, I've been looking through sort of like some of the great hits you had with the Dubliners. I mean, there's the Irish Rover. I think everybody knows that one. Whiskey in the Jar. I think everybody knows that one. And 7 Drunken Nights. I think I know that one a few times, but we won't go into that one. And of course, there's the classic Molly Malone, and you've had sort of managed to do sort of all the Irish classics over the years.
Yes. Well, 7 Drunken Nights was actually on a Dubliners record, and it was played quite frequently on Radio Caroline, if you remember.
Oh, I do indeed. I am old enough to remember Radio Caroline very much.
Yeah, and of course it got into the hit parade as a result. And that was where the Dubliners went mainstream then.
Yeah, I mean, you've as the Dubliners, they announced their retirement in 2012 after 50 years.
50 years, yes.
Why particularly did you think that was enough?
Well, John Sheahan who was the fiddle player.
Yeah.
He's a very talented fiddle player and whistle player and mandolin player. He's a very talented musician. But he'd spent the best part of 50 years with the Dubliners, and all his original colleagues, that's Ronnie Drew and Luke Kelly, Karen Burke, they all passed away. When Barney McKenna, the banjo player, passed away in April 2012, that was a shock to him. All his former colleagues had gone. So his question was, what shall we do? And we all said, well, we've outstanding engagements and contracts to fulfill until the end of the year, and we better do that. And then review the situation. In the meantime, time he decided that he wanted to retire and concentrate on writing his poetry, etc., etc. However, the rest of us decided, well, we're not ready to retire, although we ought to.
I don't know if...
Ought to. That's the sell-by date, as it were. But anyway, we decided to continue, and that's how it's come about. John retired and is doing his thing, and we're carrying on and doing our thing. That's how it is.
Because you're back together now. You're calling yourselves the Dublin Legends now. There's yourself. There's Eamonn Campbell, who was also in the Dubliners with yourself.
Yeah, 25 years.
25 years?
Yeah.
Oh, that's outrageous to do something for 25 years.
I did 30 years with the Dubliners from 82 to 2012.
God, dear me. And then you've got...
What Sean has only done about a decade, less than a decade.
And yeah, that's right. He did. And then you had you're joined by Jerry O'Connor, who's with a band called Four Men and a Dog, or was with a band.
He was, yes. And now he's on tour with Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah.
American guitar wizard on big shows, big, huge stadia.
Yeah.
So Jerry is only a youngster. He's only in his 50s.
The same age as me. I thank you for that saying that we're youngsters at 50. I quite like that. He's also played with the great Shane McGowan. He's an interesting character, isn't he, from the Pogues?
He's very interesting and a kind of a medical miracle, if you like to put it that way.
Yes.
Knowing his drinking habits, etc.
Yes.
It's amazing that
he's still around.
He's still around, yeah. And he's able to perform still.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a very talented man.
I mean, the Christmas song he has, the Fairy Tale of New York, was voted, I think, in 2012, the #1 Christmas song ever.
Yeah, they've forgotten about Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Well...
But I think he's outstripped that as well.
Yeah, I think I was quite surprised. I did a Christmas show and I played that, and I couldn't believe that people... Well, I could believe it's a great song.
It is a great song.
It's got a great lilt on it, and I think it's one that people can sing. White Christmas is a little bit melodic, and it's very difficult to sing, so... And
in spite of the fact there's some not very reverential lyrics in it.
Yeah, there's some rather rude words in it. I know I have...
Yeah.
Thankfully, I played the radio version, which we got away with. But
it's glossed over, and... it's a good song. It definitely is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so... Who picked the title The Dublin Legends? I think it's rather suitable, but...
Well, I don't know. We sort of moved that we kept the name Dublin kept in, and...
yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you, it's only Patsy Watchorn who is a Dublin man. I'm from Galway, Eamon's from Drogheda, and Jerry O'Connor is people from Tipperary.
Oh, so you're all over the place in Ireland.
It's no pedigree as Dubliners.
I suppose, yeah.
Apart from being in the group.
So,
but it doesn't take away from the fact that we're able to play it and to good effect. So we're very gratified to be able to continue. And people turn out and give us a good reception.
Yeah, and, I mean, you sell out most gigs where you go to, I hear, and which is, good nowadays, especially with the economic climate, isn't it? A lot of venues are struggling.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes,
well,
but in the Sticks area, I understand you sell it. I mean, I know you go to quite a few venues. We'll talk about where people can see you later. I mean, who would you say are your musical influences or heroes? Who would I
cite as my heroes? Well, when I was a child, I always heard my father play the fiddle. And he was a postman in Galway. It was his job. And he had other colleagues from Donegal, and they also played fiddles. And many's a night I heard the music in the house. They'd bring in a few jars and play their fiddles, and I experienced that as a child. And then my mother, on the other hand, was a fan of the tenors. She liked John McCormack, great Irish tenor, and she had records of Benjamin O'Geely and of Caruso and all these people.
Okay.
I was brought up listening to Irish music and operatic voices.
So it was a very musical...
I had a musical background in that respect. And then when I became a teenager, and roll was a thing.
Oh yes, tell me about that.
That was a great time for to be a teenager. Rock and roll era.
I must admit, I was a '60s boy, and I was brought up with rock and roll. My father played it at home, and I've had the pleasure of having some great rock and rollers who are still with us on the show over the last year or so, which has been great for me.
Well, funny enough, my favourite was Fats Domino.
Really?
And it's amazing to think that he had his first hit with the Fat Man in 1949.
Yeah.
And he's still with us, but I
I
don't
know.
think he tours anymore.
I know.
And the other, then I got to like Elvis, of course, and Chuck Berry, Little Richard. I bought records of as a teenager.
I know. Amount of people in your business who say to me one of their influences is Elvis.
Years ago, I had because the honour to meet the killer himself, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Really?
I was introduced to him in Camden Town at a gig, and our promoter in Holland was also promoting Jerry Lee Lewis on a European tour, and he asked me if I'd like to come down and see the show. So I went down to London, and he introduced me to Jerry Lee Lewis, who was then 74,
God.
a few years ago, and there was a nice dressing room upstairs with soft furnishings and catering laid out, but he wasn't able to climb the stairs, and there was no lift. So he says, no, I'll stay down here, and he used the engineer's little corner to sit there. So he brought me in there, and he stood up. He was very gracious. He stood up from the chair and shook hands. So I say, I shook hands with the killer.
Yes, great. Would you say that was the highlight so far of your musical career, or?
Oh, well, I was at the show, and I listened to his sister, Linda Gale Lewis. She's a great artist.
I know.
It's more or less the same, but it's Jerry Lee Lewis that people wanted to see and hear, and I've seen the other rock. I've seen Little Richard on stage.
Have you?
And yes, there was three of them. There was Little Richard, Fats Domino, and the said killer, Jerry Lewis. They were doing a show, three of them as a trio.
Wow.
But I went along to see them in Leicester. Unfortunately, Fats was unwell.
Oh, that's a shame.
The show. So so they were the rock and roll heroes of mine in the 50s.
That's great, isn't it? It's always nice. It's always nice to sort of meet up with those sort of people. So, when did you actually learn to play the guitar?
Me? I bought my first guitar in Germany in 1962 when I went to Germany. I think I mentioned that to you, did I?
You mentioned you went to Germany, yes.
Switzerland, Spain. Yeah, and at Christmas time in 62, I went and bought a little guitar. That's when I learned some chords.
And you taught yourself, did you?
The songs I ever learned to sing were little German folk songs with the simple accompaniment, which I still do, and I sang Musi den, vom Städtele hinaus, und du, mein Schatz, bleibst hier.
I recognise that song very well.
Covered.
Great song. I mean, I was sort of getting towards the end. I need to ask you, your favourite song. What's the favourite song you've recorded, and your favourite song, full stop?
Oh, that's a good. Well, one of my favourite songs is one called "The Bonny Bunch of Roses," which traces the history and downfall of Napoleon Bonaparte. But it's a long narrative song, and I don't sing it anymore. But that's one of my favourite songs.
Okay.
So I don't perform it. But I like some Irish songs like Fáinne and Lay, the Irish classic airs.
Okay.
And, I've even got to like Whiskey in the Jar again.
Dear, it's a cracking song.
I can't sing this anymore, but now I enjoy it, and it gets a good reaction, and there's so much in the music that's wonderful.
Okay.
Songs, and I listen to them. YouTube is wonderful to me. I can see all the old rock and rollers, the great tenors. Have you
sort of any yearning to record any of the old rock and roll songs?
Yes, funnily enough, at the moment, I'm practicing with my sons because we do shows as well as a trio, James and Robert and myself.
Okay.
We call ourselves the Cannons, and we were trying to make a go of it as a trio for their sake.
Okay.
I'd like to do that, and we're going to do some. We already do Johnny Cash
Oh, do you?
and Hank Williams. I'm a big Hank Williams fan.
Mm-hmm.
We do them numbers already. Now we're going to do some blues and rock and roll as well.
That'd be fabulous. That'd be fabulous. You have to let me know when you're doing that in the area.
Okay, we'll do.
And we'll do it. Now, I'll let you go in a few minutes. We'll talk about the Dublin Legends. You're coming to, on Saturday the 1st of March, you're coming to the Rhodes Arts Centre in Bishop Stortford. I understand you've never been there before.
I know, I've been to Bishop Stortford. I stayed the night there, well,
On the...
for airplanes and stuff.
Yeah. But,
Never
I mean, the
Rhodes
Rhodes...
Art Complex,
Yes, it's a cracking venue. And what can people expect when they come and see the Dublin Legends? Are you playing the... You're playing the...
You can hear the famous songs and a few new ones and a Gaelic song or two that I sing. And Jerry O'Connor is a wonderful banjo player and fiddle player. And the Patsy Watchhorn, he's the other vocalist. He's the Dublin man. He plays a 5-string banjo. And Eamonn Campbell is an ace guitar player. And we played with gusto.
Okay, well that's great. I mean, one more question before I let you go. Away from the music scene, what do you like to do?
Apart from music.
Yeah, apart from music.
Oh, I'm still interested in learning languages. I've got applications on my iPhone where I can learn Latin or
Really?
learning more and more Gaelic. So and I like to do a little bit of home decorating because it serves me time to home decorating, but I'm not so good climbing ladders anymore.
No?
It makes me a bit dizzy.
I must admit, I don't mind ladders as long as they're not too high. I'm all right with a step ladder inside. Outside, I'm not so happy. But
and I intend to do a makeover on where I'm living. It's high time I did. It looks a bit dowdy.
Does it?
Yeah,
Well,
but if I don't, like I say, I'm willing to do it, but I'm not able.
It's the time, isn't it? It's the time factor as well as the age, perhaps,
And
as
the
well.
time, yeah.
Yeah, the time is always the thing. Now, I'll let you go there. Thank you very much for today, Sean. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Huey. Terry.
You're listening to Seclo Sounds. If you'd like to contact us, then send an email to radio@seclosounds.org, tweet us at Seclo Sounds, or Facebook us at Seclo Sounds Radio.
There we are. That was Sean Cannon of the Dublin Legends. Going to be talking to Eamonn Campbell in a few minutes, but first let's hear 2 tracks from their very latest album, the Dublin Legends, live in Vienna. First we're going to hear Old Me Grog, followed by I'll Tell Me Ma.
I'm sinking with a head cause I haven't been to bed since first I came ashore with me plunder. I've seen centipedes and snakes, me head gets full of aches. I think I'll take a punt from out yonder. And it's all for me grog, whoa, me jolly grog. All for me beer and tobacco. I spent all me tin with the ladies drinking gin. But across the Western Ocean I must wander. Where are me boots, me knocking boots? They're all sold for beer and tobacco. When the souls got wanted, me uppers were letting in. Me feet were looking out for better weather. And it's all fun me grog, look me jolly grog. All for me beer and tobacco. I spent all my time with the ladies drinking gin. But across the Western Ocean I must wander. Where is me shirt? Oh, me noggin shirt. It's all sold for beer and tobacco. But the sleeves they got all worn and the collar turned inside out. And the tail was looking out for better weather. And it's all for me grog, oh me jolly grog. All follow me beer and tobacco. I spent all my time with the ladies drinking gin. And across the Western Ocean I must wander. Hey! Where is me bed? Now me knocking bed. Well, it's all sold for beer and tobacco. But the sheets they got all warm and the matches got all torn. The springs were looking out for better weather. And it's all for me garage. Love me Johnny garage. All for me beer and tobacco. Well, I spent all me tin with the ladies sticking chin. Right across the Western Ocean I'm a squander. Where is me wife? Me nagging wife. She's all sold for beer and tobacco. For the front it got more out, her arse was kicked about. And I hope she's looking out for better weather. And it's all for me grab. Oh, me Johnny grab. All for me beer and tobacco. I spent all me tin with the ladies sinking chin. Right across the Western Ocean I'm a squander. And it's all for me grab. Oh, me Johnny grab. All for me beer and tobacco. I spent all me tin with the ladies drinking gin. Right across the Western Ocean I must wander.
MK Flyers Online, the fast and simple way to find any kind of business or service locally. Find us at mkflyersonline.co.uk or download the MK Flyers mobile app from your app store. MK Flyers Online proudly supports Seclo Sounds, community radio for Milton Keynes.
Seclo Sounds exists to bring people and communities together to celebrate all that is best about the city. We produce a variety of music and speech-based programmes, produced by local people, and we're run by over 60 volunteers. There's always room for more, so if you have a programme idea or a skill that you'd like to offer, send an email to volunteers@seclosounds.org.
I'll tell me now when I go home, the pies won't leave the girls alone. Pull my hair is stormy cold, that's alright till I go home for Peter. She's handsome, she's pretty, she is a belle of Belfast City. She's a courting of 1, 2, 3. Please won't you tell me who's she? Albert Newby said he loves her. All the boys are fighting for her. They knock on the door and they're ringing the bell. Say, no, my true love, are you well? Out she comes as white as snow. Rings on her fingers, bells on her toes. Old Johnny Morrissey said he died if he didn't get the fella with the roll the night. Come on, tell me now when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Put my hair is stormy cold, but that's alright till I go home. She's handsome, she's pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She's a courting 1, 2, 3, please won't you tell me here she is. Let the wind, the rain, the hail blow high, the snow come tumbling on the sky. She's sweet as apple pie, she'll get her own that by and by. When she gets a lot of her own, she won't tell a man till she gets home. Let them all come as they will for the talent, but beauty she loves still. And tell me, man, when I go home, what the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull me hair and stole me cold, but that's alright till I go home. She's handsome, she's pretty, she's the belle of Belfast City. She is a courting 1, 2, 3. Please won't tell me here is she. And tell me, man, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull me hair, stole me cold, but that's alright till I go home. She's handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She's the courting of 1, 2, 3. Please won't you tell me who is she? Whoa!
My second guest on the show today is another half or another part of the Dublin Legends. It's Eamonn Campbell. How you doing, Eamonn?
I'm great, Terry.
Good.
Thank you.
We just had a little chat with Sean. He's spoken about his life in Ireland and how the Dublin Legends came about.
Right.
How did you sort of take up? How did you get involved in sort of the music business?
When I was at school, I got a guitar when I was 11-year-old, and I had heard Elvis Presley. That's how long ago it was, and I was just knocked out with the guitar. And I intended becoming an accountant, and then the guitar just took over, and I started playing with bands when I was about 13, and then I went on the road when I was 17. It was actually 50 years ago this year. And now I started off in rock and roll and then show bands. And then I met the Dubliners first in 1967.
Mm-hmm.
We did a concert tour of England together from, I was playing with a band called Dermot O'Brien and the Clubmen. And he had a hit with a song called The Very Playboy, which was very big with all the Irish in England. So we used to do great business in the ballrooms there. And anyway, we did this concert tour with the Dubliners. And myself and the lads just became friends. Especially Lord of Asian, both of them, Ronnie and Luke. And then in 1986, they were going to celebrate 25 years of the Dubliners in 87, and at this stage I was producing records. And they asked me would I produce an LP, as they were called. So I came up with this idea, it should be a double LP, get a load of guests, and get the Pogues. And we did the Irish Rover. And
Yes.
I've ended up playing with them ever since.
Yeah. So it's always fate, wasn't it? I mean, I bet the Pogues are fun to play with, aren't they?
They were great. They were great. And a lot of Asian, Phil Chevron died there in the summer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Which was a shame.
Yeah.
Lovely man.
I mean, I think they live hard and...
The rock and roll lifestyle.
I think so, yeah. I mean, so...
Especially Sheahan. My God, I don't know how he keeps going.
Yeah. So years ago, you were doing covers of sort of like current songs, were you?
Oh yeah, that was the whole show band era.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it. I remember that sort of era quite well. Actually, I'm of the age where I remember all those sort of things.
Oh dear,
I'm over 50, so we'll.
Well, I'm 67 now.
Well,
so I started when I was 17 on the road.
I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing how certain songs and certain types of music never dies. In fact, it always comes back again, doesn't it?
Well, do you know what I find? Honestly, sometimes say around Christmas that here in the house and sing songs, as they call them, starts. And if I launch into Buddy Holly and all that stuff, Eddie Cochran, Elvis, even the kids, my daughter's friends, they know all the songs. They love them,
You're not the first person I've spoken to. I do obviously do this show regularly, and the amount of people who cite Elvis as one of their inspirations it's
spawned a whole generations.
I know. I'm a big fan, and I've spoken about it before. I was last Christmas or Christmas 2012. I was out in Hawaii, and I was at the hotel where they shot Blue Hawaii.
Ah, you're serious?
No, and it's derelict now. It got hit by a hurricane in '93, and it's they're still fighting out about the legal side of the insurance and all that business. But I actually met the guy who plays the ukulele on the wedding scene at the very, very end.
Are you serious?
And he's 82, and he plays
he must be 80.
And he is still playing. He played actually for my wife and myself that afternoon, and it was amazing. I love Elvis, and I thought to myself, what a shame,
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think to me, actually, fame killed him.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think that's probably happens with a lot of people. I think that's happened with many, many stars, whether it be film stars or musicians.
Well, I mean, look at he was a good friend of mine. I'm going on to snooker.
Yeah.
Alex
Higgins. Yeah. I mean, what a talent! What a talent!
I used to meet Alex in Dublin, and he just could not handle people coming over to get his autograph and to get photographs. And I'd be always saying, for God's sake, Alex, just say hello to them, shake their hand. He used to freak.
Yeah, I bet you had some good nights with Alex.
I tell you, when you got to know him, he was a really, really nice guy.
I'm sure.
He was actually very shy.
I love me snooker as well. I'm a big fan of Mr. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ronnie is incredible. I saw him playing here an exhibition match just up the road. I drink in a place called the Submarine Bar.
Okay.
It's a big sports place, and they had him and Ken Doherty.
Oh, yes.
A few years ago doing an exhibition match. It was just unbelievable.
It's frightening how easy he makes the game.
Isn't it? I mean, you know something, I had a great pleasure. I can't remember where I was, somewhere on the continent. Do you remember he made the fastest ever 147?
Yeah, I think about 5 minutes and 21 seconds of
correct? Well, I was about to leave the hotel room to go to the gigs, do the sound check. And I had started watching that frame. And I said to myself, "Feck this, I want to watch it." And like you say, what was it, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
What did you say, 5 minutes?
5 minutes and 21 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. It's five,
Well,
just
I
over
wasn't
5
that
minutes.
late. I couldn't believe it. I never seen anything like it.
Yeah. It takes me that long to pot a red.
I know that feeling.
So, is that your hobby, Eamonn?
It used to be years ago. Then I started wearing glasses, and I wouldn't do a Dennis Taylor. Get the upside down glasses.
What do you do to, I mean, relax after, either, you know, when you're not touring or after a gig?
People say to me that have met me on tour, say on the continent or that, and you know, say if they're in Dublin, you know, you get friendly with people over the years, obviously, and I'd give them a number. And when they meet me in Dublin, they say there are two Eamonn Campbells. There's the Eamonn Campbell on tour and the Eamonn Campbell at home. Because when I'm here, my two daughters go to college, my wife works, she loves working, so I do all the cooking and everything.
Really?
I'm a real homeboard.
Well, what sort of things do you cook? What, you know, if I was coming around for dinner tonight, what would you cook me?
But I make, even if I say so myself, the best spaghetti bolognese you've ever tasted.
Really?
And I do a thing called chicken, broccoli, and bacon and cabbage, of course, favourite.
Okay.
Different stews. I have a fair range of
you look after. Yeah.
I love cooking, actually.
Yeah, I must admit I do as well. I spent a few years working in the hotel business before I got into other things.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I loved it. I love doing it now because I don't have to do it, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, well, that's true. But you know what I find with me? It gets me out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I go up to the local there's a supermarket just up the road from me, and you know, I know what I'm going to do, and I just shop every day. Mm-hmm. And then you meet lots of people and have a chat, and you know, you go in for a coffee.
Yeah, I must admit, I live in a very small village, and it's a little bit like that when I go. If I go for a walk down the road, a 5-minute walk takes me 25 minutes because I bump into somebody I know, and by the time I get back, it's sort of, you know, where have you been? What have you been doing?
Yeah. You said you were only going to do it for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. So you love to cook. Is there anything else you like to do nowadays?
I watch sport. I don't play it.
No, I'm getting to that age where I watch it. Are you? What's your favourite sport then?
Soccer.
You like a bit of soccer? And let me guess, you're a Liverpool fan.
No, God, no.
Man United.
Guess now. If I say no to Liverpool, Man United.
Man United. I was teasing. I was teasing.
Mind you, we're going backwards, I think.
All the Irish people love Man United, don't they?
Yeah, well, so many Irish played for them over the years.
That's right. Well, yeah,
I know a lot of played for Liverpool, but I always thought, you know, I think he was a great player and a great manager, Graham Souness.
I remember him well.
But when he took over Liverpool, he got rid of all the Irish players. And to me, they were never the same. They're coming back this season. Well,
of course, the greatest Irish player is the great Georgie Best.
Ah, yeah, God. I mean, he was the best.
Yeah, I mean,
did you... pleasure of seeing him at least 30 times in Old Trafford.
Did you? Did you actually get to meet him?
Great team.
Did you ever get to meet him?
I nearly. You want to hear? I won't course now on air, but I was at Dublin Airport and I saw Georgie Best, and I was getting my gear off the carousel, and he was sitting there, and I said, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. So I raced over. Just before I got to him, some other real Dublin guy got to him, asked him for his autograph, which he did very nicely. And the guy says to him, actually, this is not for me, it's for my brother. I think you're a terrible, starting with B and then X. And he just rolled up the autograph, threw it at your man, and stormed out. I never got to second meet him.
He was another serious talent. I never met him. I saw him a couple of times, and from what I understand, he was another one a little bit like our Alex Higgins.
He was.
Great talent.
And plus, you would remember, wouldn't you, all the media exposure he got?
Oh, yeah.
He was kind of the fifth Beatle, or do you remember the word?
Oh, yes, I remember it all very, very well. And
I suppose he was instrumental in a lot of girls and that, and families going to take him, support soccer.
I think it's a good thing. I remember the best thing I ever saw, he was on Mrs. Merton many, many years ago, and she asked him the question, she said, if you hadn't run around so much in the 60s, would you have been so thirsty? And I thought that was a cracking quote, and that just about sums up the great Georgie Best. A real talent, and
he was,
it's a big shame all the talented people are going.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'll let you. I know.
Can I just get a quick plug in?
Of course.
Would you mind?
No, please.
It's just recorded over 3 nights in September in the Metropole of Vienna, and it's to coincide with the tour. And it's called An Evening with the Dublin Legends, live in Vienna.
I know, it's quite. I've actually got a couple of the tracks. I'll be playing them during the show. So
really?
I mean, I was sent a couple of the tracks to play. And
listen, I'll make sure. I'll get you a copy of the CD sent over to you.
Lovely, no problem. No,
Jean Levy, she'd have your.
She's the lady who sent me the 2 tracks, which was fabulous.
Right.
I'll go through where I mean, we've just spoken to Sean, and once again I'll mention where people can see you. It's on Saturday the 1st of March.
That's right.
It's at the fabulous Rhodes Arts Complex, and I know you've not been there before.
No, I don't think so, no.
And it's in Bishop Stortford. It's very close to Stansted Airport, or within
right.
sort of about 20 minutes from Stansted Airport, 15 minutes, depends on how fast you drive and what sort of car you got. And it's a very, very nice venue, very intimate venue.
Oh, great. I look forward to that.
Yeah, and thank you very much for your time today.
And listen, I love the name of the radio station.
What, the Seclo Sounds?
Is that what it says?
Yes, it's Seclo Sounds. It runs off. It's based in an old rectory on the outskirts of Milton Keynes. It's not very far from the stables, and I know you go there fairly regularly. So
right.
So we're not far from the stables. So maybe when you're at the stables next, we'll pop down and see you.
Right.
All right.
Okay, Terry.
Thank you very much for your time today, Eamon. You're a gentleman.
Thank you very much, Terry.
We've just had a call from JVB, and they're after a new logo.
OK, let's call our logo agency.
Oh, and Jones & Sons need a new brochure.
Right, I'll get on to our brochure agency.
And they'll need some custom illustrations.
Right, I'll call our illustrator.
And bespoke photography.
OK, and I'll call our photographer.
Tired of having to find a million different people to cover all your creative needs? With over 20 years of experience in a wide variety of media, Grant Kempster can take care of everything, including commercial and corporate designs, illustration and photography.
And finally, we need some leaflets and ads doing for John Smith Associates.
No problem. I'll give Grant Kempster a call.
For more information, visit grantkempster.com.
In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone, as she wheeled her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, for so were her father and mother before, and they wheeled their barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Died of a fever, and sure no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. Now her ghost wheels her barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
There we are, that was the Dublin Legends and 2 tracks from their new Live in Vienna album. Big thank you to Sean and Eamonn for coming on the show today. But could play one more of their songs. This is obviously the classic Molly Malone.
In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone, as she wheeled her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, for so were her father and mother before, and they wheeled their barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Died of a fever, and sure no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. Now her ghost wheels her barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
There we are, that was the classic Molly Malone by the Dubliners. What a great sound that is. Now, we're going to change the sort of tempo of the show. We're going to be playing a song from a band called Jonny-amp-thebaptists. They're currently touring the country. They're the UK's hottest musical comedians. They're coming to the area, they're coming to the Stables Theatre on the 7th of March, and also the Bedford Theatre on the 24th of April. This is their song called Not a Pub. Hope you enjoy this.
Where have all the old men gone? They are not here, there's something wrong. My feet are tired, my mouth is dry. I want half a mild and scampi fries. But you've got staff with asymmetric hair, and you've written the word gastro everywhere. I want ales in jugs, I want to listen to Suggs. I want to be where the air is thick with bugs. I want pickled eggs and scratchings, not hummus and pitter. What do you mean you don't serve bitter? These staff don't need work, they need a babysitter. A pub, not a hipster. How can you be on Twitter?
You are not a pub.
If your lights turn on at 11:01,
you are not a pub.
If your landlord isn't just a little bit racist,
you are not a pub.
If every other drinker is writing their novel,
you are not a pub.
Jugs of cocktails, some of them with milk in,
you are not a pub.
If your fruit machine has been replaced with a DJ,
you are not a pub.
No, of course I don't want you to make me a mocker.
You are not a pub.
If you have more than one variety of wine,
you are not a pub.
If you order apple sours and it's available.
Wi-Fi,
not a pub.
Thai food,
not a pub.
Twitter feed,
not a pub.
Tapenade,
not a pub.
Name tags,
not a pub.
Instagram,
what?
Soy milk,
not a pub.
Dubstep,
what the fuck?
Bon Iver,
not a pub.
Ramekins, Sabi peas, vegans, Skrillex,
not a pub.
Tea lights, load of bear. Where's this? You are not a pub.
There we are, that was Johnny and the Baptists and Not a Pub. Just got time to play one more song. This is a band who are coming to play also locally at the Stables on the 21st of March. They're a band who are an electric partnership of two brothers, Jamie and David Dellar. They're sort of combining the world of folk, jazz and rock music. This is their song, It's All Quiet.
As I walked out one fine morning at the dawning of the day, four brothers came riding over the hills. The first one then did say, it's all quiet on the Western Front. I turned my coat and I joined the hunt. I left town and stopped the clock. Time stands still as we track the fox. On the northern front, the 80s came and we bore the brunt. No coal, no steel, no hammer, no spark. Nothing made now in the retail parks. It's all quiet on the eastern front, and I for the main chance I'll have a punt. My home, my car, my girl and me, we raise our glass by the cold North Sea. It's all quiet. So quiet here, so don't wake me yet. It's all quiet on the southern front. The Garden of England, what a PR stunt. We sold our souls in the wasted dome for the maximum wage, £1 million. Oh. And these four brothers, they would not stay. Mounted horses rode away to the points of the compass. Each one fled, one thought burning in my head. It's all quiet here, oh, quiet here. It's all quiet here, oh, quiet here. So don't wake me yet. Brothers in a resting state, with minds grown dull and senses blunt. The north, south, east and the western front. As I rode out one fine morning at the dawning of the day, four brothers came riding over the hills, and each one then did say, it's all quiet here, it's all quiet here. It's all quiet here, all quiet here. Don't wake me yet.
There we are, that was the sound of Morking and It's All Quiet. I'd like to thank my guests today, both Sean Cannon and Eamonn Campbell of the Dublin Legends. Next week on the show I have one of the stars of the recent series of Splash, comedian Patrick Monaghan. He'll be great fun. I've been Terry Sullivan, this has been the Sticks Radio Show, and until next week, it's bye for now.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture, and much more to 66,000 readers every month. Plus news, views, and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.